You're listening to Raised You Better, the mother-son podcast where generational differences, hot topics, and everyday hot-button issues collide, sometimes resulting in one of us saying, I raised you better. I'm Jesse, and joining me, my mother, Kathleen. Say hi, Mom.
Hi.
We're close, we care, and we agree mostly, except when we don't. Each week we dig into the issues, culture, and beliefs and try to understand each other just a tiny bit better. This is Real Family.
This is Raised You Better.
Okay, so I've actually got some exciting news today. I've accepted a job offer in San Francisco, which means I'll be traveling to the city across the Golden Gate 5 times a week. Now, it's been a long hunt, exhausting. I think upwards of a year and a half. I've been seriously putting in effort to try to suss out a role, to find something that fits not only what I want to do, but what I have done in the past. And it's been a lot of work, and I actually have an interesting story that I don't think I told you yet.
Okay.
About this process, something I experienced during applying to all these places. So I think we're going to start off with that. So I was on Indeed and LinkedIn, and I was applying to some companies, and I had made it past the first stage with one of these companies. And naturally, as these companies have been doing, you take this third-party personality exam. Okay, are you familiar with what that is?
No.
So basically, have you ever heard of like the Myers-Briggs test? Yeah, ENTJ.
Okay.
So that's what I am. What are you? Do you remember?
No.
No? Okay.
Because I've had 50 million of them.
Sure. Okay. They're doing less Myers-Briggs exams and more in-depth personality analysis exams.
That's right.
Third parties.
Okay.
And basically, you go to these websites, you'll click through these questions, answer some questions, it'll summarize it. I'm sure there's an AI, something
Big
involving
component.
AI. Right. And it'll spit you out your answer. You'll get a code, and you give that code to whoever's interviewing you or to the next stage in the process of the interview.
Okay.
This one was a little different. I was used to doing these external personality assessments, but this one up front cost $4.99. And
wow.
I know. So in all of my experience applying to probably 300, 400 jobs in this past year and a half, I have never once come across any instance where I was required to pay money up front in any way.
All
Immediately, I said, my alarm bells are going off. It's $4.99. I'm just going to perhaps do it. I'm already in the second stage of this interview process. This seems promising. I've talked to a real human.
Okay.
And
so you're not thinking this is a scam.
Not yet.
And they just want your
And this
debit
assessment is going to spit out a 9-digit code that's required for me to even move past this level in the portal of this interview process. So I'm thinking about doing it. I take the exam. At the end, it says $4.99. And then in the small print, I'm like, I click down for more info. And in the small print, automatic monthly charge of $29.99 after a 7-day period, 7-day trial thereafter every month. And so I was like, why would a company, one that was supposedly trustworthy, ask me to do this exam that not only costs money up front, but also will immediately charge me 7 days after for a monthly fee? And I was like, this is scammy. Something's going on here. So I'm doing some more research on LinkedIn and on Indeed, and I noticed some similarities between the employees listed for the company on Indeed or on LinkedIn and the company hosting the third-party website. Okay. Because on LinkedIn, you can see where people have worked, what they do.
Okay. And
I saw 2 employees that had overlapping experience with the company that actually hosts this personality exam and the company that I'm applying for. And so I do some more research online with the help of AI, and I found that they have a connected business, what's that number? Business number, business license. They had the same one. It was listed under the same one. And after some further research, I determined that this company that I was applying for they didn't have a real opportunity for work at all.
Wow.
They were designed as a
sucks.
100% scam funnel to funnel people looking for work, suspecting people looking to,
they're desperate. They're wanting to do it, and they're not going to read the small print.
Right. So what I uncovered is what appeared to be a scam funnel, or at the very least, the illusion of a real job listing designed to funnel desperate applicants into reoccurring subscription charges for this company. How I was enraged. I'm glad I didn't pay that $4.99.
Yeah.
I immediately reported them on Indeed and on LinkedIn, and I posted online to see if there was similar stories that people had experienced, and I didn't get anything back. But I mean, could you imagine?
It's an opportunity for people to get scammed.
Sure.
Just like a rental house, just like anything. I mean, it's all there. This is really
And another
sad.
popular scam that has been happening in the past 3 years is people on Indeed and LinkedIn using job listings as another form of marketing. So there's no actual job at the end of the tunnel. They're just getting their brand name out there. It's how they're hosting marketing, you know? Anyway, it has been a journey. I have finally found one that I'm really excited to get into. But this kind of leads us into what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Adulthood, why it's been so difficult. Are we working harder? Are we working less hard? Are we trying less? Or are the circumstances just different? So what we're going to get into today is why younger generations are moving out a little bit later. I know we referenced some of those in our previous episodes. Some burnout and work exhaustion, maybe some dating fatigue and delayed milestones, student debt, and the modern job market, which we already kind of covered a little bit. So are you ready, Mom?
I'm ready. I mean, I do feel every generation has its stumbling blocks. And I've even fallen into those stumbling blocks when I was looking for a job.
Sure.
Where they said that this job was available, and I go to apply and I notice something weird on it. So I immediately email the company, and company comes back and says, no, we're not actually looking for a job. So you guys are forced to go on Indeed or governmentjobs.com
or LinkedIn.
All of these, right? They funnel you there because it's easier for the employer.
Sure.
But then you're wondering what's real and what's not real. And
exactly. And you're one in 4,000 applicants. And most of the time, HR they don't even have eyes on your resume because they're using an AI system to weed it out before.
Yeah.
So I actually got some luck this time around because I changed my resume to the Stanford, I think it's called the Stanford Business Style resume.
Oh,
and immediately got started old school. It started getting some hits back. And that's because the AI systems that are detecting and reading through and evaluating, it likes where everything is placed. It's neat. It knows where the dates are. So before I had a very creative resume. It was,
I remember.
Right. It
was
had
busy. Your choice of cocktail on there in your picture. And it
got me far in some circumstances. But as far as those AI them being detected by AI and weeded out, I wasn't getting
because a normal person wasn't viewing your resume.
Yeah, sure.
And if they were, they probably would have said, wow, this is a cool resume. But it wasn't even getting to the person.
Well, getting past resumes, let's say this younger person is in a job. Let's get into this. Older generations often frame younger people as lazy, immature, unwilling to grow up or get serious about work life. I think, for instance, Whoopi Goldberg got some heat about this in 2023 on her talk show, The View.
Yeah.
She kind of said that young people are lazy. I think lazy was that word.
Yeah.
There's no hustle culture. They don't know how to apply themselves. And she got a lot of pushback on it because from my point of view, I just think the circumstances are so completely different than how they were in, let's say, 1989 when you were graduating high school.
I mean, very, very different. But what I will say specifically about you is I do think your generation does have a funnel or, like
tunnel vision.
Yeah, where the horses, how they have this
blinders
on in some ways.
Okay.
And I don't think I call
pertaining
that laziness.
To what?
I mean, do you want me to get real?
Sure, get real.
Because there are a lot of jobs that you could have taken that you didn't even want to.
Right.
For one reason or another.
And if you heard me when I was introducing this topic, I said, I'm glad I finally found one that fits what I want to do.
Exactly.
And where I have been.
And some people don't have that. I'll call it a luxury.
Sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, you could have gotten something, and this is a decipher too. Maybe it's not laziness. Like in our generation, we had to get while the getting was good. We had to take what we had to take.
Yeah.
I never wanted to go into banking.
Makes sense.
But I went into banking.
Not many people do. I mean, unless you're on the investment side of banking.
Right. So for you, I know you really wanted to get into a career that challenged you, that excited you, that utilized all of your different things.
I wanted something unique.
Right.
That's probably an easy way to encapsulate
and that's
that.
hard. That's hard.
It is hard.
Because you're good at so many things that you could have,
And this wraps up most of my affects. Like this does photography, marketing,
but
media.
it's not actually what you wanted, because you wanted some kind of role that you didn't have to go into an office every day.
And I
so you
was
did
willing.
Settle.
Yeah.
But you could have settled a lot sooner. I think you finally realized.
I understand where you're coming from, because let's say when you were being brought up, you didn't have Spotify. You listened to what was on the radio.
Yeah.
Right. Our lives are they're exactly what we want them to be. We can choose what we want to watch when we want to watch it.
Yeah.
We can connect to the internet instantly.
Yeah.
We're listening to the music we want at the press of a button. There's no I forget the word I'm really looking for, but we have such our life is so laid out for us in the way that we want. So I can see how you can,
But did that set you back because of your job? Because if you didn't have all that,
I don't think there's anything wrong with bagging groceries at Trader Joe's.
But yet you never would have done it.
Exactly. So it's just not for me. That's not what I saw for myself.
If I had to do that now, I realize you don't have kids and you don't have a family to support now.
Right.
I do think if you did, you would think differently. So I can't compare you and I. But if I had to do something that I had to do to take care of myself, I would do it. You were not going to tap that at all.
Sure. Some of these thresholds have even changed for even obtaining these jobs. So, for example, when you're working at a bank, you have to at least have a college degree, right? Did you have a college degree when you started?
I did not have a college degree when I started.
So I think that's a prerequisite for even getting an interview, right? And for example,
that would be interesting.
There was this girl on TikTok, and I think I've shared a little bit about this story to you, but she had a master's degree, I'm sure in something impressive, but she went to school for was 6 years or something.
Probably
she gets out of school.
That,
She needs to get a job. She has no prospects. All these jobs that required these master's degrees, but also required 2 to 4 years of prior experience. Well, your experience is in school. She had no experience.
Yeah.
She couldn't get in the door anywhere. She goes and applies to Target. She has a master's degree. She applies to be a cashier. Nothing wrong with this position, but you would think somebody with a master's degree would kind of be shut up on the list a little bit, right? As far as qualifications. She was
probably thinking she could,
She got denied a cashier position at Target. Some of these...
Because they knew she wasn't going to last long. As soon as she was going to get a job, she was going to be
perhaps, gone. I don't know. Semantics. But some of these thresholds have wildly changed. And not only that... It's the whole process from graduation, getting into college, the student debt involved in that. There's another story we were talking about, and this has some extenuating circumstances, but I saw on TikTok, there was this doctor online showing her student loan portal, and her original borrowed amount was like $96,000 or something.
Yeah.
9 years later, she had already paid probably about like 120, 130, if I remember, towards that loan, yet somehow she still had a remaining balance that's more than some people's mortgage balance. $230,000. And I know she had borrowed, or maybe there was some penalty fees, but I wanted to look a little bit further, and it seems like on average people have about $72,000 to $200,000 in student loan debt.
Yeah.
So you're starting behind because in 1989, I think on average it cost $2,000 to go to university tuition. $2,000 yearly on average.
That's just $2,000 for the tuition, not including food and housing. But you're right. Absolutely, probably a quarter of what it is today.
Santa Cruz, it's like minimum $50,000
well,
just for tuition.
It's because of the other expenses that come along with it. Food and housing and all that. I mean, it is. I feel for your generation and the generations to come, and not that I'm for socialism or anything like that, but something definitely has to change.
Sure.
Or really, with AI though, my other thought is we're going to have a lot more people that learn the trades, because really now the jobs.
Are you talking hands-on trades?
I'm pretty soon things are already starting to fold.
Sure.
Right? So what is always going to be there?
Construction,
building,
well,
repair,
maybe not even building, because we got people 3D printing houses now.
But
I see what you mean.
Electricians.
Sure.
There has to be carpentry. There has to be food stores. There has to be restaurants.
I agree.
So there's always going to be that. And I can tell you, a lot of the shit that AI is doing is not doing a good job
I would agree with that.
We need the personal service.
Sure.
We need the personal
touch. But it's getting better. So eventually.
I know. It's already impacting jobs, and it is a little scary.
Yeah. And on the other side of that, there's potential for more jobs with this.
But we have to figure that out, just like we did when the Industrial Revolution came along and engines and machines, just like we did when computers started. So this is not the first. It won't be the last.
I would agree with that. Yeah, absolutely.
But we have to learn to embrace it. We need to learn to control it as well.
Sure. So let's get back to this core issue.
Okay.
Because we talked about this the other day. We've referenced it in previous episodes. You're saying we have blinders on and that you don't think we're necessarily lazy, right?
I mean, I'm sure I've used the word lazy because it is a different work ethic.
Sure.
And so we do look at your generation a little different, just like our parents looked at my generation a little differently, right?
Sure.
So it's all relative.
Absolutely.
But I feel like if you really needed to eat, you would have found a way to eat. And I don't think that's there.
Okay.
Because there are so many people in your generation that are staying behind longer in houses.
Sure.
And they are, because we understand as parents.
Right.
Like, you can't afford rent. You can't. So we have been hosting you a little bit
We'll get
longer.
into that a little bit later.
Okay.
But let's map out what the average life looked like for somebody, like, let's say, boomer, right?
Oh, yeah.
Graduate high school.
I'm not
get
a
into
boomer,
university.
but yeah.
But like, we'll talk about how this transforms a little bit. Get university, immediately gets a job.
Yeah.
You stay at that job until you retire at what, 55?
Well, I mean, Lawrence stayed at HP for 32 years.
Sure.
He's also in government, so he still works. But yes.
Backtracking, second year of your job.
Yes.
You bought a house.
Maybe. The boomers may have, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. They're buying a house. They're having 3 children. You have
not all boomers had
This is a generalization.
Though. So yes, you're talking about.
I'm talking about somebody in the professional workforce.
Right. White collar.
How different this looks now, because by the age of 18, 19, 20, you got 2 kids. You're a homeowner. You're working in a long-time job.
Maybe 20, they've got kids.
Sure.
Mine, I was Gen X. I was married at 23, kids at 25, 28.
Right.
We had to both work. We couldn't afford daycare or even school for all 3 of you. So we were passers in the night.
But your learned experience kind of comes from what you learned from your parents, right?
Yeah, we saw them succeed, not easily though. And Lawrence's parents either. Like my dad was an entrepreneur. He owned his own businesses after he retired from the military though.
Sure.
So,
and like I said, I'm not dismissing there being hardships. There's always hardships.
Yeah.
I'm saying those hardships have shifted because we've had disease, we've had war,
we've always
economical
had
hardships. It's different now. There's differences in these challenges.
As there are with everything, but I wouldn't say the challenges are more or less. They are just different.
Well, if you don't think they're more, let's talk about a medium home price in 1989. Was $120,000.
Yeah, that's true. But
what's a median home price in our hometown now?
Probably
over $1 million. 900, just about $1 million.
Yeah.
So
it's true. But
if we're talking about,
but compare apples to oranges. I hear what you're saying, but just from my life alone, like we couldn't just go in the early days to Target. We call it getting $30 to death.
Okay.
Like your paycheck went quick.
Right.
It was hard for us. So, and it was probably harder for my parents. I mean, my dad was born the day after the fall of the Great Depression.
Right.
His family lost their jobs and had to grow fruit and vegetables and sell on a cart. And then they fed my dad and his brothers and sisters the leftovers.
Right.
That's hard.
I agree.
So talk about economic collapse.
And along with that, there's also
shit.
the development of society, culture. Those things aren't happening necessarily as much today.
I would say, I mean, we saw a huge collapse during
Oh,
COVID. We
absolutely.
saw, I mean, there's just, I don't think we can call anything better or worse because we have gone through so much history, right? That has made us. Your history, much different than my history, much different than my parents'
Okay.
history.
Like we can say the circumstances have just changed. Different
Just changed,
circumstances.
yes.
Not necessarily worse or better, harder, easier.
I think there's probably sprinkles of all of it
exactly.
throughout.
All right. I think we can agree to disagree, perhaps, or agree.
Well, I do think it's different, and I think you're going to die on your sword here.
Uh-huh.
I don't need to die on a sword because I've now seen 3. I've seen my parents' generation, my parents, my generation, and your parent and
Right.
your generation.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a smaller specimen to look at.
Okay.
Let's
you
just
mean
say.
my view is more myopic?
Only because of your age.
Okay.
Not because of anything else. And I will say, you like me were in a semi-charmed life.
I would agree. Yeah.
There are a lot more people outside of the realm.
I wouldn't even say remotely that I've had it bad.
Right.
That's not even,
But
know.
I see the struggles. I've seen all 3 of you struggle in different things and trying to get jobs and
totally. And
all that.
This is our next point.
Okay.
There's this viral title that's being bestowed upon the sons of a family.
Okay.
And this was actually on the news, Fox News specifically, probably on a few other networks, but the stay-at-home...
You don't listen to Fox News, so I don't know where you heard it.
TikTok. The stay-at-home son has joined the discussion. Now, Mom, I barely referenced this earlier with you, but I'm going to give the listeners some backstory. There's this viral discussion recently around the stay-at-home son. Young men are skipping college or choosing an alternate route, delaying moving out while staying in the family home a little bit longer. But in many of these situations, they aren't just sitting around and doing nothing.
Okay.
The stay-at-home son is kind of that role switch between what traditionally the mother or father would be doing.
Okay.
They're cooking, they're doing the cleaning, they're helping with bills and caregiving, contributing to the household in rich ways, not necessarily monetarily.
Okay.
In exchange for either lower living costs, financial stability, a stipend, or free rent.
Okay.
And dinner on the table.
Okay.
What are your thoughts about this?
It could not work with me. Because first of all, you cannot clean as good as me.
I would have to disagree. Bleach.
Wait.
Here's the thing.
I will say
this is not for our situation.
Right.
This is for a full-time working mother, full-time working father, probably some younger siblings.
Or another situation would be like, because my generation's known as the sandwich generation. So maybe
explain
the sandwich generation. We're still having to take care of our kids because the cost of living is so high.
Okay.
But we're also caring for our parents.
Okay.
So
You're sandwiched.
We're sandwiched.
Okay.
So in a situation like that, like let's say that a family, there's a lot of non-traditional ways that we're living now to afford housing.
Sure.
And one of them is this family situation where a parent...
Multi-generations.
Right. Because you can't afford to pay these high costs of living for your older family member to live in a home a lot of times.
This is not a new concept in any way.
No, well, the Asian culture and lots of other cultures
perhaps
already
newer
care.
To fairer skin, genotypes.
It is because in this country, very much we were raised on the fact that you left home when you turned 18.
Right.
But lots of other cultures are different.
Exactly.
So you're right. We're getting there.
In 1989, the year you graduated college, it was normal for teens around the age of 18 to 22 to move out.
Oh, yeah.
Now the projected time that people are moving out, currently as of today, 26 to 27 years old. Yeah. That's my sweet spot.
I know.
Multi-generational households continue to increase. Yep. Home ownership in younger adults has sharply declined, even though we were all taught that owning, what did they say? Own. Like that's...
Buy a home.
Yeah, that's the American dream, buy the home. But back to this stay-at-home sons thing.
I think stay-at-home kid in any... The son, I think, gets more attention because it's something we don't think about, right?
When you think of your son in the family home, you're not thinking cooking, cleaning, domesticated duties, right?
No. But if I was still working and raising a family, I'm still working, but if I was still raising kids, younger kids, like let's say when I got married with Lawrence, we had more kids and I had a 10-year-old at home and him and I were both working.
Yeah.
I don't mind this idea.
Okay.
If I had an older son
Sure.
or daughter who is like, I don't know really what I want to do yet. Maybe I can go to school online, but I don't want to move out. I might say, okay,
Right.
well, that means if you stay at home, you're picking your brother or sister up at
Sure.
school, you're taking them to soccer, you're picking up, groceries, you're doing this. I don't know about letting them do everything free reign because that's still my home. So that would
Okay.
be a little weird.
Okay.
Or
to have them fully take
yes,
over.
or the flip side, if I had an older parent at home that
Could
had
do
to be
those
watched,
duties.
I would say
Oh, okay.
to the older son or daughter, stay at home son, hey, mom's here.
Hang out.
I need you to
Caretake.
yeah,
Yeah.
she needs she's got 6 doctor's appointments this
Sure.
week. So I can see that this worked if this really is legit and it's not some excuse for these kids to
just
stay at home.
Right.
But if they're going to care for the household and help
Sure.
and
To
do
take
all
a beat
this,
for a few years
hey.
until they realize what they want to do.
I feel bad for them though, because this person needs, what if they meet a partner or somebody and the partner's like, what do you do? Oh, I'm a stay-at-home son. I don't know. That's where you may have
Well, let's talk about what a fair exchange for this would be. Now, if let's say I'm still in high school or just out of high school.
Yeah.
You're working full time. Lawrence is working full time.
Yep.
Let's say we got Nana Sherry in the house with us, and let's say she's older than she was and she needed help. There's also a younger kid there.
Okay.
If I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm helping with drop off, caregiving, contributing to the household in richer ways, is living there and eating for free enough in exchange, or would you perhaps be willing to offer some?
If they're juggling all those things, I think they probably deserve to have some kind of stipend.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, because they're choosing to help. Now, if I really needed the help, then yeah, I would pay them. I've paid all of you guys.
It'd probably
over
be
the
cheaper
years
than
for certain
childcare to begin with.
For sure.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of wraps it up for our discussion today.
Well, let me say one more thing. You just said I used to babysit as a job.
Uh-huh.
And I would get $5 an hour to babysit 3 kids.
Sure. And now it's maybe
I can't even imagine.
$120.
I mean, 3 kids, 5 hours.
Yeah. You're making $300.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a good way to look at it. So they are earning their keep. If they're truly doing it, taking pride in it, I don't care what you choose to do.
Laborious,
if you do a good job at it, you deserve to be paid.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to Raised You Better.
All right. Bye.